engines humming, lights burn bright. Another season, broad daylight. History written, legacies free. Welcome back, this is season 3. Slugger ruled when it all began. Season 1, the original hand. Richard Dempsey took the crown. Season 2, he shut it down. Now the grid is back again. New contenders, old revenge. Same league, higher velocity. Every lap writes history. Season 3, feel the heat. Wheel to wheel, no retreat. From green lights to victory. Matt Malone League, this is me. Season 3, stand your ground. Every inch is hard fought now. No rewind, no guarantee. Matt Malone Patreon League, Season 3. Crowns are earned, not given free. 2 champions, now history. Who's next when the lights go green? Welcome to the grid, Season 3. Season 3, feel the heat. Wheel to wheel, no retreat. From green lights to victory. Matt Malone League, this is me. Season 3, stand your ground. Every inch is hard fought now. No rewind, no guarantee. Matt Malone Patreon League, Season 3. Season 3.
Hello and welcome back to the Matt Malone Patreon League here for season number 3. It is round number 3 as we prepare for racing action around the Mugello circuit. We have got a fantastic race on the horizon. Weather conditions are going to make it interesting. In our open session here, it is nice and sunny, nothing to be concerned about. However, in our the official session qualifying the race, it is going to be rather wet out there. It is also then going to mean that drivers are going to have to get these Formula Vs around in some tricky conditions. You want to keep it off of the painted areas of the racing surface, of course, but we are running the Mugello short circuit here today. And that final corner as we head back onto the main straight, you have to run over the painted section for the pit entry, which is going to make it tricky. Here at Mugello then, as I say, we're running the short circuit, 1.4 miles long, 2.27 kilometers around the Florence countryside in Tuscany. It is an absolutely fantastic circuit. This layout is going to really show off the battling capabilities of the Formula V. Of course, we've had the Formula V once before in the Matt Malone Patreon League. It was back at Brands Hatch in season number 2. Auburn Kyle went on to win that race, but it was a race-long fight between a number of championship contenders. We saw Slugger up there, Richard Dempsey up there, Matty Quill up there as well. And of course, Auburn Kyle went on to win it, came third in season 2 last season. Now, talking about the calendar that we've got coming up, of course, we have already been to our 2 British rounds of this season at Silverstone and Thruxton. We've left the dreary British country and now into Italy, of course, where the rain has followed us through in the Formula Vs today. In 2 weeks' time, we will not be out next Saturday. It's the Bathurst 12 hours, so we will be back out in 2 weeks' time at Willow Springs for round number 4. That'll be in the Fiat Supercars on February 28th to end out February. March, then, we have 3 races coming your way. Michigan in the Xfinity NASCARs, Sonoma in the Rallycross, and Phillip Island in the IndyCars, the Dallara IR18s. We then have another week break there before we head across to Bristol Dirt in the Dirt Mini Stocks. We take another week off just after that one. And then we go back to back for the Red Bull Ring in the Dallara P2s and 2 Chicago Streets in the TCRs. A great season of competition coming our way, and we are going to have a look at how the championship standings are out of the opening 2 rounds of racing action. Checkers is at the top of the championship order right now, ahead of Big Al. Kevin Parrish sits in third, ahead of Matty Gwill, who is looking to try and beat his 2 second-place finishers, running up twice so far in the opening 2 seasons. He's looking to beat that this season. Matt Malone currently holds on to a top 5. Richard Dempsey was not here in week 1, but he went on to win last time out in the Spec Racer Fords around Thruxton. Josh Stafford is up there in 7th as well, with Meckarm in 8th, Milky Illadels in 9th, and Sean Sims in 10th position. We will look at the full championship standings at the end of the race. Of course, the drop weeks are going to be applied today, which means at the end of today's race, we are going to see our championship standings limited to just the best results from each of the drivers. So for the first time tonight, welcome to the commentary booth here in Joseph Wright Broadcasting. We are happy to bring you all of the coverage of the Matt Malone Patron League, as we have done since the inaugural round all the way back at Okayama in season number 1. Of course, we have Matt Malone streaming as well, racing, so make sure that if you aren't already, I'm sure you are, that you're heading over and watching Matt Malone give this race a go as well, and you are supporting him. Over here on the Joe's Fight Broadcast. Now, if you are new around here, make sure you've hit that follow button so you're notified when we go live for all of the broadcasts, including the Patron League. And then you can also check out all of the stats, race results, and league standings by heading across to our website at josephwrightbroadcasting.com/Matt Malone, and you can check out everything over there. I've got it up myself because it has given me all of the stats that we need to have a look at today. So, the pole sitters so far this season: Big Al and Mads Lunde, 2 new pole sitters. Of course, Mads getting in for the first time last week. Big Al getting in season number 1. It wasn't able to get a pole until this season. Neither of those drivers have converted their pole position into a race victory. At the Porsche Cup Silverstone round for round number 1, Big Al managed to come home in 2nd place, which has matched his best result for the 4th time now. He is still missing that elusive race victory. That first race of the season won by Checkers, of course. Then we had Spec Racer Fords around Thruxton last week. Mads Lunde did place it on pole, but unfortunately a game disconnect just before the start of the race meant that he had to start from pit lane and missed out on the benefit of starting from the very front of the field, and he was unable to get any points in the end at the end of the Thruxton round. Instead, Richard Dempsey, who missed the first round of the season, stepped back in to the competition last week and was able to take his first victory of the season in that race. Of course, it was very close between himself and the 3 fighters that were going out for the lead of Richard Dempsey, Matty Gwill, and Checkers. And Checkers, of course, does mean with that he has got some strong points on the board. Will he be able to convert that into a championship lead at the end of this one? He will be up there, of course, tied with Richard Dempsey, and whoever wins tonight, will that be one of the familiar names, Checkers or Richard Dempsey? Will it be someone new for this season? Matty Gwill might be able to find his way back to the front, for example, see what speed he has. Matt Malone has won 3 times before. Can he find his 4th tonight? Auburn Kyle, he's been putting in some great pace over season number 2 as he steps in again. Will he be able to do that tonight? Will we see a new time winner for the first time today? Of course, we've got to get through a 20-minute qualifying session first before we head into that 20-minute race. The conditions are going to be tricky out there, and as we prepare for the start of the race, we will take a step back here in the broadcast booth so that we can get down onto the track and ready for the third race of this season in the Formula Vs around the Mugello circuit. And while you wait, make sure that you head across over to our YouTube as well, and you can subscribe over there so you can catch up on all of the race highlights from season number 1. You can find that by going to youtube.com/@JosephWrightTV, or you can head to josephwrightbroadcasting.com/YouTube, and either one will take you across to our channel so that you can catch up on all of the races so far this season. We'll be back in around 5 minutes or so once we've launched in to the qualifying server. Don't expect this sunny conditions though. We are going to be getting the rain and the overcast conditions. It is going to be a very tricky event, that is for sure. We'll be back in just a moment's time, so don't go anywhere. And welcome back here to Mugello as we have entered into qualifying here for round number 3 of the Matt Malone Patron League in the Formula V machines. Drivers are starting to get their laps in nice and early here, so we are hoping for what is going to be an absolutely fantastic event of racing, as it usually is here for these races. Now, we are getting drivers flying into the server, and they will have an opportunity to do that all the way through from now to the end of qualifying, of course, before the start of the race, as we are now getting ready to go with this session. In fact, let's get ourselves up and around to see what is going on with drivers out there right now. And with 20 minutes on the board, we watch Bob's Jelly here, who is running around the fastest in the session at the moment in this early stage of asking. And that is a big side, though, for Bob's Jelly, and not the way that he would have wanted to continue around on his lap. As we were talking about Auburn Kyle before, Auburn Kyle won the Formula Vs the last time they were taking part in the Matt Malone Patron League in this one. And this is going to be what looks like a brilliant event, as usual, for these ones. And with Auburn Kyle at the moment, seeing what he can get in there. Now, it is wet out there. It is wet and slippery, which means drivers are going to have to try and find the dry lines, see what's going on around this circuit to see how it all works. But we come through what will be the 4 and 5 chicane there. Of course, 2 chicanes at the early point on the lap. We're only running the shorter layout here, not the full layout. And we head up through the final corner and up towards the timing line. Auburn Kyle goes across that painted section. Of course, we talked about the fact that these are wet conditions. You don't want to run over the painted lines, but you sort of have no choice around this circuit, that's for sure. Jägelbaum then starts a new lap here, and we are going to ride on board to see a lap of the Mugello circuit as we head up towards turn number 1 of San Donato. Jägelbaum runs in wide, gets it turned up. You don't want to go too close to the curbing though, it'll be wet, and you don't want to take any of these curbs wet. Now we come through turn number 2 of Luso. Pushes out wide, a little bit of standing water there mid-corner before we go through 3 of Poggio Secco there. Again, a lot of standing water on the outside on that curbing as we full throttle it up towards turn number 4 of Materassi. Pushes it to the left. That's a little bit of curbing there. That's going to aquaplane a little bit, but Jägelbaum keeps the speed up through the exit of 5 of Borgo San Lorenzo and up towards the downhill turn 6 of Casanova here, where normally you'd run off to the left in a usual GP layout. We head on straight and then to the right, where we go through turn number 7 and on to the pit straight once more up towards the timing line. As we cross the line, let's see what Jägelbaum's able to put in, as at the moment Big Al is the fastest man out there. Jägelbaum puts in a time good enough for 4th position right now. Big Al, of course, taking the pole in the Porsches back at the start of the season. He's displaced from that pole position spot momentarily as Matty Guil finds his way to provisional pole position. Now, pole position is not something that Matty Guil is unfamiliar with. Of course, he's taken 4 pole positions across the course of the league history. Can he go for a 5th? At the moment, it's going the way of Space Ghost, who steps in to the racing seat for the first time in the Matt Malone Patron League here in season number 3. We've not seen him in the previous 2 seasons. He's looking like he's got some good pace out there right now. We come through turn number 1 of San Donato there, and as we watch Big Al, he runs off wide, pushes it a bit too hard. Checkers gets in a lap time on the board, a very slow lap time though for Checkers, and you can see running very slowly here. Looks like he's just trying to find somebody to work with. He doesn't want to pull out too far ahead. What can Checkers do here? Because if Checkers is able to find the speed and put it towards the front, of course, he's taken a win. He's taken a third. Could he find himself on the podium once more? Checkers has been, I want to say, absolutely nowhere in the first 2 seasons of competition. He has not had the best of luck. He's not been able to attend all the races, but Checkers has a real opportunity in season number 3 with the way that it has started here. He looks towards the inside of the number 19 machine, the number 19 machine being Rydog there, as they look to support each other around the circuit at the moment, but Rydog is staying ahead as it stands in this fight as we come through turn number 3 of Mugello Secco. Again, look at all of the water, that standing water where you really normally push your car and try to get yourself out there. Not able to do that. It's a big old slide from Rydog there, and another one, and he finds himself spinning into the gravel. He'll get it back going straight. He does without going around. That'll keep his tyres in a semi-sensible condition. He just needs to get rid of the gravel there. Sean Sims finds himself in provisional pole position at the moment, ahead of Lobster Racing. Richard Dempsey's up there, and we've got a car around. At the final corner, I think that might be Tony Jabroni. Probably moves into 5th position there as Maddie Will. Moves into 3rd. Mansalunde got pole last week, goes into 5th. What will Checkers be able to do with that lap time? Is it good enough for 5th? It is. That's a top 5, 1,000th of a second quicker than Mansalunde. We're waiting for a first lap time from Matt Malone here. Malone coming through the chicane as Mecham goes on to provisional pole position. The circuit is drying, and I think it is going to be the best conditions right at the end of this session. Big Al moves himself back into that provisional pole position spot as Matt Malone comes through the final corner. Slugger moves up into 3rd position. What can this be for Matt Malone? It's a 14.852 from Big Al. He's the only man in the 14s at the moment. What is Matt Malone going to be able to do on this lap? It's his first time lap of the session. It's a 16.158. It's good enough for 15th place at the moment. Of course, you are going to want to find yourself inside the top 20 come the end of the race, because it is the top 20 that score yourself your points. Matt Malone has not always started him up the order, in fact finding himself towards the back of the top 20 in most qualifying sessions. However, we see him move up the order. It's the results at the end of the race that counts. That's where the points are given out. And talking about points, of course, we are running now with 2 drop weeks applied, which means if we show you the top 10 in the championship here, it's all 0 points. It's all 0 points. No one has any points now because of the drop weeks being applied, which means that at the end of the race today, we will see a championships order that is with the 2 drop weeks applied. Of course, 10 rounds in this series. 8 of those rounds will count. Now, I was having a look back at the first 2 seasons of competition. Season number 1, everyone in the top 10 dropped non-point rounds, which means there were no points left on the table at the end of it. I look back at season number 2, and there were lots of points being dropped because drivers such as Matty Quill did not finish outside of the points in a single one of the races in season number 2. That means that if there were no drop weeks applied, Matty Quill would have won season number 2. Those drop weeks helped Richard Dempsey, especially with a couple of the poor runs that he had, notably we think to Spa, where he went around on the opening lap of the race. Across the timing line then goes Milky Illides as he looks to improve on his time. Can't find any improvement at the moment. Matt Malone did improve on his to find himself into 11th and just behind Richard Dempsey. Championship leader Checkers still down in 16th place right now. Bob's Jelly goes provisionally pole position ahead of Sean Sims. He's getting a toe along the main straight there, which is really going to help him out. Someone who didn't think they were going to make it today is the person pulling Bob's Jelly along. Slugger was unsure and actually very unconfident that he was actually going to be able to get down onto the track for today's race, but he is out there, which is good news for the Season 1 champion, who's had a stronger start to Season number 3 than he had in Season number 2, but still not the way that he would have wanted it to go. He would have been wanting a few more points on the table. Matty Quill, who's been runner-up in the first 2 seasons so far, just improves on his lap time. He was in 14th. He's up to 9th position now as it stands, as we have just need to do our unprofessionalness and move this across, because I forgot to turn Discord into streamer mode, which means we have some noises there. Right, let's do that. Awesome. But watching Matty Quill then, he is running around in 11th place right now. He's getting some times on the board. He'll be wanting to find his way further up the order as well. Of course, Bob's Jelly improves even more there and goes almost half a second quicker than Sean Sims. That's now putting Slugger behind Bob's Jelly, which means Slugger now will get the advantage of the toe, and that is the number 22 machine. Who is that chasing behind? That is Richard Dempsey, who is also following in behind there. So this 3-car train, Bob's Jelly, it's Richard Dempsey and Slugger here, but it currently, as Slugger runs off the circuit into the water pile on the outside of Poggio Secco there, it is going to be Bob's Jelly on that provisional pole. Lap Traffic has found time though and has gone into second position past Sean Sims. Tom Payne is in the session but yet to exit pit lane without a time on the board. Checkers here, still not getting a time in that we would have hoped for. 1.5 seconds off of the fastest drivers out there. He's just not finding the support that really could help him out here. Mekar moves up to third, Milky Ilidos but moves up into 4th position right now, as Matty Quill is also on his own right now. Here is the trainer driver we saw before, and Richard Dempsey taking full advantage of the toe that he was getting from Slugger and then from Bob's Jelly, and Dempsey goes into provisional pole position, which again he is no stranger to at all. Richard Dempsey has taken 7 pole positions, is almost double the amount of the driver in second on our polls. If you want to catch all of the official statistics from the league, then make sure you head across to josephbrightbroadcasting.com/Matt Malone, and you can see all of the statistics that I am reading out there. Richard Dempsey also having the most wins in the league, of course, with 6. If he was here for the whole of season number 1, it was very likely that he would have won that season as well. But he unfortunately wasn't able to attend all the races, which meant that he was dropping down the order with the points. Mads Lunde goes into a top 10 position. Wasn't able to benefit from his pole position last week at Buxton due to the connection issues that dropped him out of the start of the race, but it means that he is now looking to try and do something better here today, try and get his first points on the table. Miki Elidaus, we were watching him earlier on, he's moved into second position. This circuit is heavily on the slipstreaming qualifying, which means if you can find yourself that support around there, you can find yourself up the order. I don't think the qualifying order is going to be representative of the final race results for the most part. Talking about some qualifying order, Matt Malone has moved up into 4th position right now. Very strong time on the board. The circuit is still getting drier though, and there are drivers not out on track, Malone being one of them, which means that he is not going to be benefiting from the drier session towards the end of this one unless he comes back out of pit lane, which he doesn't usually do. Matt Malone normally puts in his qualifying early doors and then spends the rest of qualifying just having a little bit of a conversation about everything going on. So we could see Matt Malone falling down the order, which he already is now, as Mads Lunde moves up into 4th position here. Are we going to see a new pole sitter for this season? Richard Dempsey has won a race this season, but he has not taken pole position yet this season. Could he do that? Matty Quill has moved himself up into second position, just 4 thousandths of a second behind. Quill again not yet taking a pole position this season, but he is the second highest in the pole position list, just like he's the second highest in the race winner list as well. He is vacant from the titles, however, with 2 of them just slipping from his grasp. Of course, season number 2, the gap between himself and Richard Dempsey, the winner, was just 1 point. Space Ghost finds himself on pole position here, and I would say it could be his first pole position, but the order keep on changing as the circuit dries out right now. Across the timing line we go for Matty Gwill, looking to improve on his 13.8, and he does. It's a 13.6, but Kevin Parrish says, thanks, Matty, you can have pole, but I'm just going to take that toe that's right behind you here. And Kevin Parrish, who sits 3rd in the championship right now, is looking very strong with a potential pole position on the board here. Mekar moves up into 5th position as it stands, but the top 16 are all within 1 second at the moment. Of course, quite a short lap around here. The toe is allowing drivers to move their way through as Richard Dempsey and Bob's Jelly continue to work together as Matty Gwill spins off the track there, and they're working together there from Bob's Jelly and Richard Dempsey. Moves themselves into provisional pole position for Dempsey once more. Bob's Jelly on the front row of the grid as it stands as well, so he'll be looking, try and do something with that. Big Al moves into 4th position here. Can he repeat what he was able to do back at Silverstone in the Porsches? Right now it doesn't look like it. The circuit officially very lightly wet, which means that the racing line itself has become almost dry. It's just through some of the corners, through those sections where the puddles are formed, you want to avoid. Kevin Parrish once again finding time now. He's got another car off and around. Kevin Parrish has gone to provisional pole position now, looking for his what could potentially be a first pole, but anyone could get it at the moment. It's Milky Illidelves and Mekar work together, move up into 4th and 5th position. 3 minutes left on the board right now, and at the moment there is no telling who is going to find their way onto pole position at the end of this one. Bob's Jelly now moves into provisional pole. It is constantly improving. Of course, we saw 1:14s earlier from Big Al. We thought that was quick. We're down to 1:12s right now. Slugger moves to the front row of the grid, less than half a second behind. Big Al moves into 3rd position now, less than 1/10 of a second behind Slugger. It is very, very close at the moment, and we're still seeing drivers working together to see if they can move up the order here. Meatball for Jägel Bomb, who has found his way into a wall. He'll have to call that quits in qualifying. Here is Kevin Parrish now, getting a distant toe. Lap traffic moves up into 8th, knocking Matty Gwill and Space Ghost down to 9th and 10th position. Can Kevin Parrish find any time here? He's currently sitting 4th position at the moment, 1.5 tenths off of that pole position lap time. Checkers gets in a stronger lap time towards the end here. He has moved into 7th. Just what the championship leader needs. Milky Illidelves finds more time out there, moves into provisional pole position with a 1:12.6. Sean Sims has moved up to 4th, just under 0.2 of a second off at the moment. And Bob's Jelly finds even more time, a significant amount of time, 0.4 up. It's a 1:12.222 for Bob's Jelly. Is that a potential pole position confirmed and in the bag there? It is certainly getting faster out there with the circuit drying off. That has left drivers like Matt Malone and Jägelbaum, who've yet to come back out onto the track, with some very slow lap times starting near the rear of the field. Of course, the slipstream and just trying to keep it clean is what's going to matter in the race ahead. We come up towards the timing line here for Kevin Parrish. Can he improve with that distant toe that he's getting from Matty Gwill? He cannot, but Matty Gwill himself does improve and moves into 4th position right now. Big Al is up in 2nd, just off of Bob's Jelly's time, looking to try and improve on what will come up to be one of his last laps of qualifying here. Mekar moves up into 6th position in that. Mads Lunde has moved up into 3rd as well. Tony Jabroni moves up past Checkers. Sean Sims moves into P5, knocking Gwill down to 6th. Bob Jellies improves even more on his lap time. It's a 1:11.5 from Bob's Jelly. Can Big Al close that 0.7 of a second deficit? He's got no toe in front of him, It is going to be very, very challenging indeed to work his way past. Space Ghost himself is in this train of drivers, has found his way up to second. Matty Quill is also at the rear of this train of drivers right now, looking to try and get that distant toe up towards turn number 1. Can Matty Quill do anything here as he's getting pulled along towards the timing line? He'll get one more opportunity at this one. Lap traffic improves, goes up to 7th. Kevin Parrish moves into 3rd position now as drivers come across the timing line. They will be taking the checkered. Who is going to take pole position in this one? Bob Shelley is the fastest at the moment. Tony Jabroni puts in his first top 10 lap time. It's 4th position for him. Checkers finds his way back inside the top 10. Milky Illidales goes into 2nd position there, and and Mekar moves up into 5th position. Changes constantly to the end here. Drivers are able to finish the lap that they were on. Richard Dempsey finds enough speed to go into 3rd position. It is Bob Shelley still on that provisional pole right now. Who is going to find their way, if anyone, past Bob Shelley, who is looking for what would be his first ever, no, his 2nd pole position. He's taken 1 pole position before. It was on an oval track, I believe, and he just wasn't able to convert it into the race when it was the Arc at Menards that Bob Shelley was able to take pole before that. Is he going to take it here? Slugger has moved into 2nd. Lobster Racing moves into 3rd. Is there going to be improvement behind? Lap Traffic moves into 7th. And Kevin Parrish steals it on his last lap time for 1:11.070. Kevin Parrish takes the pole position away from Bob Shelley and will take his first pole position in the Matt Malone Patron League as qualifying is over here at Mugello in the Formula V's, and it is pole position for Kevin Parrish. We are going to have a look at the grid in just a moment's time then as drivers prepare to get themselves started for 20 minutes of racing action here at Mugello. Let's have a look then at how this grid is going to line themselves up. Kevin Parrish will start on pole position, taking away pole from Bob Shelley on the final lap of asking. Slugger will start from the 2nd row alongside Lobster Racing. Milky Illidales will start from 5th, and Richard Dempsey will start this one from 6th position. 7th will be for Big Al, and Lap Traffic takes home 8th. Space Ghost will start in 9th, and Matty Quill will round out your top 10 on your grid. Mekar will start in 11th, ahead of Tony Jabroni. We'll then have Checkers in 13th, Mad Flunday in 14th, ahead of Sean Sims and Provi. Auburn Kyle, who's won the Formula V's the last time we raced them, in 17th, ahead of Kyle Ditch. We then have Powski in 19th, ahead of Matt Malone. Jagelbaum will start this one in 21st, ahead of Rydog. DDO Deadman will start in 23rd position, and Tom Payne in 24th. That'll be the grid then for this one as we prepare for 20 minutes of racing action here. And we are green and away for round number 3 of the Matt Malone Patron League. A penalty in the background for Tom Payne off of the line, who has jumped the start. That is a real shame, but we head up towards turn number 1, and it is Kevin Parrish leading the way as we head up towards the first turn. It goes almost 3 wide there. Bob Shelley moves to the racing line on the outside with Slugger behind. Lobster Racing side by side with Big Al here. Big Al is going to be on the inside of this one. That was Bob Shelley wide on the exit of turn number 1, and it goes through. We ride on board here with Big Al as he tries to settle it down, and he'll have to wait behind for now. It is side by side throughout the field at the moment as they try to settle themselves down, and that is an accident ahead. Early doors, Slugger involved in that one. Huge accidents as more cars get held up in a very big crash there. As drivers now sort of out, Mads Lunde, Slugger, Lobster Racing, Jagelbaum, all with meatball flags at the start of this one, but Kevin Parrish comes out of the final turn, 6/10 clear of Bob Shelley. Richard Dempsey holding on to 3rd position as we go across the timing line. on to lap number 2 here. Matt Malone getting the overtake done on Tom Payne there. Payne will still need to come down pit lane with the penalty. A number of cars, though, down and out on the opening lap of this one as Big Al goes to the inside of Richard Dempsey up towards turn number 1. It's side by side for a number of cars behind as well as we try to figure out where we are in this race. There's so many cars going for position. Auburn Kyle there makes his move past lap traffic. Lap traffic now could be under attack from Matty Gwill. Gwill kicking up a little bit of water there in the background as he ran a little bit wider. He looks to the inside now and will settle it down. Here is this is what happened to Mads Lunde later on. This is the wreck then that occurred that included Slugger. It was a slide from Slugger that kicked it all off. It was the number 5 of Lobster Racing who went over the top, and it was just drivers getting collected in that one. A real shame, but it was a slide from Slugger that kicked that one all off. That is Bob's Jelly around. Issues for the man who was right at the front of the order. What's happened for him? He's spun through turn number 7. He's had to get it out of the way as quickly as he can there, but a real shame for him. Richard Dempsey now goes back up the inside of Big Al as this is the fight for second. Tony Jabroni gets in there as well. Kevin Parrish 4 seconds clear here. If he can just keep it clean, he's going to win this race from pole position. It'll be the first time that pole position has been converted into a win this season. He'll also be matched at the top of the championship order with that win to his name. Of course, 2 drop weeks being applied after today's one means only the best result will count towards your championship standings out of Mugello from the opening 3 rounds, as those drop weeks will kick away your 2 worst results, and as there's only 3 of them, it means that it will only be your best result left on the board. We come through the final turn here. It's Auburn Kyle leading lap traffic here. And Matt Malone, we said he doesn't have the best of qualifyings, but he's able to normally pull it up the order. He's in the 23 machine right now, chasing down this field of drivers ahead of him. Are there going to be more issues? Matty Gwill gets past lap traffic. It's side by side here for 3rd position with Tony Jabroni on the inside of Big Al. It's going to go the way of Tony Jabroni, and is that Checkers looking to get involved now? Checkers, the championship leader, of course, a 1st and a 3rd. He's looking to try and take 3 podiums in 3 races. He's currently sitting in 5th right now behind Big Al. A little bit of water being kicked up there from Richard Dempsey as this train of drivers extends from 2nd all the way down to 18th position right now. It is a very long train of drivers that's including pretty much everyone that was not involved in the first lap accident. Tom Payne has had an issue here. He gets some of the water just avoided from DDO Deadman there, but that's how dangerous the water is, as that is Richard Dempsey onto the wall, onto the grass, and that's Rydog around in the background. Tony Jabroni here looking to move into 2nd now with Dempsey off the circuit out of the final turn. We're a quarter of the way through this race. 5 minutes down, 15 to go. Matt Malone is the fastest driver out there right now. Is it going to go 3 wide into turn number 1? It certainly is. It settles down ahead, but they're not settling down here with Matty Quill trying to make the move through on the inside. It was Auburn Kyle in the middle. Kyle holds on to it right now, and Checkers falls down to 7th position. He's just thinking about those points at the moment, but I'm sure he'll be trying to make his way back through as the race continues here, as it's side by side once more. Tony Jabroni looking to go to the outside of Big Al, as Big Al's moved his way into 2nd place, and now it's a switch across from Richard Dempsey potentially to the inside of Tony Jabroni there. No, he has to back out and wait behind as we come up towards the final turn of the race at the moment. Let's see. Richard Dempsey goes to the inside of Tony Jabroni. They'll fight it out up towards the timing line. This is what happened to Rydog. It was a spin around all on his own. And we're back to this side-by-side racing battle up towards turn number 1. It is going to be Richard Dempsey who tries to hold the inside line there. Big Al is on the middle. And we go in towards turn number 1. Matty Quill on that outside line at the moment. Matt Malone has dropped behind as he's battling with Sean Sims to hold on to a top 10 space. Of course, this fighting is allowing Kevin Parrish to just pull away at the very front of the field. But this battle right now, surely it's a great battle to be in and down on the track. That was that traffic who ran onto the gravel there on the exit of Poggio Secco. We head into turn number 4 now, and it is still Richard Dempsey leading this fight, which has once again extended down to the top 12, including Matt Malone, who dropped down a little bit. He has a little bit of work to catch up to lap traffic, but with traffic running off the circuit, it means that that train that had fallen behind just a little bit caught back up once more. In fact, Provi is trying to keep up to Pawski right now, and there's somebody around in the background. It's Provi and Pawski. As I say, Provi trying to catch up to Pawski. They've gone around. That was Provi around. And it looks like Pawski has done it himself just ahead. It was two separate incidents there. Pawski and Provi find themselves around. It's side by side through turn number 1 once more. And this time, Auburn Kyle tries to hold it on the outside to get to the inside of Richard Dempsey into turn number 2. He does have it there, but as the way the circuit goes, it'll go back the way of Richard Dempsey through the next turn here. A lot of water being kicked up there as drivers try to keep it together. They certainly are, and doing a very good job at that right now. Auburn Kyle once again looks to the inside of Dempsey, backed out of it early. Dempsey pushed a little bit hard into the corner. But these Formula Vs, they are easy to get back onto the racing line because they are a lot slower than some of the cars we've driven already in this league as well as this season. The Porsches, for example, at round number 1, if you go a little bit deep, you might be losing a lot of time there. This is what's happened to Tom Payne, and it looks almost identical to a spin we saw earlier from Payne. But no one around him this time. He gets it back going. But a little bit of gravel there onto the circuit. Matt Malone here running with lap traffic and with Space Ghost as they're fighting it out for 8th position. Richard Dempsey moves into the lead. Matt Malone at the moment trying to hold on as well. It's 3 wide up towards turn number 1 in this fight for P number 1. They sell it down side by side. Richard Dempsey on that outside line means Auburn Kyle now will get the line that Dempsey did last time. Can he keep his wheel in? No, he cannot. And Dempsey goes defensive, closes the door on Auburn Kyle. Kyle pushes too hard, runs off the circuit there, and that is a back marker. How is that going to affect this now? We have seen back markers come into play before. Lap traffic gets a meatball flag, as so does Sean Sims. It looks like the two of them have come together. Potentially we'll have to have a little look at that as we try to see how these drivers navigate that lap traffic who is getting off. It isn't lap traffic who is getting off, it is Tom Payne who's trying to stay out of the way of this leading fight right now, as that was around in the background. Space Ghost has gone around in the background there. Let's see what's happened towards the back here. It was Sean Sims and lap traffic. Oh, look at that. Just Sean Sims up and over onto his roof there. Contact with the number 8 machine in that one who was lap traffic. So yeah, a real shame for those two. Right, we go back to the live action fights. This is Auburn Kyle now with Matty Quill as Big Al has found his way back into 2nd position once more in their fight at the very front. Kevin Parrish just enjoying life 6.5 seconds up the road. It looks like Space Ghost also getting a meatball flag from an incident with potentially Tony Jabroni. This was the final corner. We saw Space go around. He's hit the wall hard there, and it looks like Tony Jabroni just up ahead there hit the wall, and that was enough for a meatball flag, was it? No, that was just a spin from Jabroni. It was just a spin. It was a meatball from Space Ghost, who we saw hit the wall hard. This is Milky Illadels right now. He's leading a fight of Meckham and Bob's Jelly as well. So Bob's Jelly, who started this race strong, down 8 positions on the start. Auburn Kyle and Matt Malone both up 13 positions right now, as they are the biggest of our movers and shakers, as Big Al looking to try and do something to get past Richard Dempsey once more. That was Matty Quill just behind, looking to get past Auburn Kyle, potentially on the inside. They run side by side. Auburn Kyle, again, he's looking to try and move even further up the order after a poor qualifying session, starting this one in 17th. He has got himself very much involved. So has Matt Malone, who has dropped off a little bit from this fight right now. Has Matt Malone, but he is within touching distance, especially if these drivers out front start to get into more of a fight. Kevin Parrish started this one on pole position, still leads the way 6.5 seconds out front. Not the fastest driver out there, but because he's got no one to fight, it means he's just able to put his laps in, and as long as he doesn't send himself around, it should be all good to go. Now, there is some potential for rain towards the very end of this session. If that does happen, if that does hit, it could cause some very big changes in our points order. All of our drivers that will finish this race are going to take points. Matt Malone takes purple lap as it goes 4 wide for just a moment up towards turn number 1. Settles down again to 2 wide, but are we going to go 3 wide? No, we're not, as that was Richard Dempsey looking to the inside of Matty Grill. It almost turned into a move on Auburn Kyle as well, but here comes Matty Grill to get up the inside. Now, these 4 names, Big Al, Auburn Kyle, Richard Dempsey, Matty Grill, are names that we saw in the Formula V's last time they were out there, names that we see at the front fairly often as well. Checkers is just behind there looking to try and take 3 podiums in 3 races if he potentially can. Of course, he has to get through and past a number of drivers here. We come through turn number 5 and up towards Casanova. It is just that puff of smoke every time these gears are changed, as Auburn Kyle finds his way into 3rd position. He's up 14 places from the start here. Can he find his way past Big Al, or he finds his way onto the grass there, and that is going to invite Richard Dempsey back in as that's a slide. In the background, it's Tom Payne. It's a lap down from Tom Payne as he goes around, and very similar to what we've seen before, just about avoiding, I believe that was lack of traffic there. Matty Grill then looking to try and get involved on this fight to the outside. It is 3 wide into turn number 1. It is Dempsey on the inside. Dempsey holds it. Auburn Kyle now goes to the inside. Big Al on the middle. Matty Grill will hold what will be the inside into left-hander. It's now side by side. Matty Grill has to back out of it a little bit with the wet conditions and drops behind Matt Malone, who finds his way into 5th. Side by side between Malone and Grill now. And Malone's going to be stuck on the outside of Matarassi here and will drop behind, looking to try and get the speed on the exit, potentially up towards Casanova. He stays behind. It's a look again to the inside just up ahead as well from Auburn Kyle, but it's not the best place to go for an overtake. We head up towards the final turn now. Coming up to 5 minutes left on the board. We're looking at about 5 more laps of racing action. Matt Malone looking to try and take a top 5 here. Started in 20th position, up to 5th position right now. He is the biggest mover out there. He's side by side ahead. Big Al is going to be on the middle once more. Dempsey on the inside, and that will be Auburn Kyle on the outside line. Kyle drops in behind. Big Al will hold it right now. It swaps around. Are we going to run 3 wide into turn 2? We're certainly not. Dempsey on the outside of Auburn Kyle right now. It switches across, and Dempsey will hold it in that 22 machine ahead of Auburn Kyle, but they head up towards Matarassi here. And it is going to be the inside line for Auburn Kyle. He backs out of it though, and Matt Malone is right on the rear end here in this fight for P number 2. Kevin Parrish now 8 seconds in the clear and up the way. Fight behind for Mads Lunde. Found himself involved in that first lap accident. And it's going to be contact with Payne. Almost. Payne catches the water though. Finds himself going away, and Mads Lunde just trying to find any points that he can out there in their fight. It is 4 wide over the timing line. Is it going to be 5 wide as Matty Grill pulls up to it? No. They come over the crest, and just look at that. Absolutely wonderful pictures up towards turn number 1. It's going to be 4 wide with Checkers, who's been behind this fight all race long, to the inside, and Checkers, who has just been waiting towards the end of this race, just like he did last week at Thruxton. He finds his way up to 2nd though, not waiting to the last lap of asking this time. And he will now have to keep Matt Malone behind, who is up onto that podium position. Little bit of water there from Malone, and he does look to the inside of Checkers. Checkers backs out of it to allow Malone through. Not wanting to go side by side, but there is a little bit of a nudge there. And here comes Auburn Kyle to the inside. It'll be Auburn Kyle side by side to Checkers. Through Casanova. He's going to have to try and keep it the tighter line. He stays behind for now, and Matt Malone holds on to second ahead of Checkers. It's Auburn Kyle behind, chasing down, moves to the right hand side. It's 3 wide once more across the timing line with 3 more laps, it looks like, left on the board. It looks like Milky Illidaus and Pawski have had an issue towards the back of the field here. Up towards turn number 1 though, are we going to remain 3 wide once more? It looks like we are, but Drivers just backing out of it, and Checkers, who was up in second, backs down once again. He can see this fight going on. He knows he's going to have the opportunity come the end of it. The lap count dropping from potential 18 to a potential 17 as we continue to watch this fight. Let's see what happens to Milky Illidaus very quickly. It's a spin and a slide for him that we've seen quite frequently, and for Pawski, it looks like a big hit on the wall for him. It's a slide and a big overcorrection there for Pawski, and he finds himself in the wall. Back to this fight for second position then, that is just fallen massively behind Kevin Parrish there, as lap traffic receives a second meatball flag of the race. We come through the final turn. We catch on to lap traffic, who's facing the wrong way. This is how that occurred. Onto the water, almost identical to Slugger's issue on lap number 1, and it means he's down pit lane once again as this fight continues on. What's happened to Mecham? He's found his way off the circuit at turn number 4, Maturasi, and the rain is coming! The rain is here! With 2 laps to go, it's 4 wide into turn number 1! Somehow they hold it through! Matt Malone comes out on top as the rain stops momentarily. Is it going to fall hard enough to impact this one at the end? It starts again. Big Al in 6th right now has got Checkers just behind. Checkers is at the rear of this train of drivers right now as we watch from Checkers' viewpoint as we come up to what is going to be potentially, looking at where Parrish is. Yes, the white flag will come out here as we watch the fight from onboard Checkers here. To the inside of Matty Quill goes Big Al. The rain starts to fall properly now as we come on to the white flag lap. Who is going to take the podium? It's Richard Dempsey ahead of Matt Malone at the moment. Auburn Kyle in 4th, had a Big Al, Checkers in 6th, and Matty Quill at the back in 7th. We head up towards turn number 1. Matt Malone goes defensive to the inside. We go 4 wide in a staggered formation up towards turn number 1. Tom Payne receives a penalty and will be applied at the end of this race. We come through turn number 2 now. It's still side by side. Richard Dempsey and Auburn Kyle. Dempsey will have that inside line. Kyle will have to remain behind. Big Al can see this. Checkers can see it. Matty Quill can see it. They're going to have to take an opportunity as soon as it opens up, as that was to the inside. Auburn Kyle looks to Richard Dempsey. Dempsey runs a little bit deep, and that sets Big Al into a slightly wider line through turn number 5 there. Up towards Casanova, and this is Auburn Kyle to the inside of Richard Dempsey. It's a little bit of a wobble there. Kevin Parrish will take the checkered to win from pole position. Who will come home second? Will it be Matt Malone from 20th on the grid? It's a drag race behind. Who takes third? Richard Dempsey or Auburn Kyle? It goes the way of Richard Dempsey. Still fights behind. Bob's Jelly trying to get Kyle Ditch here up towards the timing line. Can he do it? Yes, Bob's Jelly holds on to 8th. Milky Illidaus here trying to chase down Mecham. Can't quite do it in that fight either. But what a race that was for Kevin Parrish, who turned a pole position into a race win. That is the first time a driver has been able to convert a pole into a win this season. It is a first for Kevin Parrish in league history as well. He's taken his first pole and his first win. biggest mover and shaker out there, Matt Malone, up 18 places in that race. He started P20, he finished in P number 2. He wasn't the only big mover and shaker though, of course. You had quite a few of those. Auburn Kyle went up 13 positions. DDO Deadman got into 13th by the end of it. Carl Ditch was up 9 and Checkers himself was up 7. But it does mean that we've not seen a driver take all 3 podiums now this season, which means that the championship is just going to get tighter and tighter. Let's then have a look at the race results before we check out our championship standings. And it was a dominant victory for Kevin Parrish, taking full advantage of the fighting going on behind him. And he won by 10.6 seconds ahead of Matt Malone. Richard Dempsey came home in 3rd position ahead of Auburn Kyle, and it was Big Al who crossed the line in 5th, just ahead of Checkers and Matty Gwill. Bob's Jelly beat Carl Ditch in a drag race to the line, and Mecharm came home to round out the top 10. Milky Illidales came home in 11th ahead of Provi and DDO Deadman, and a lap down was Sean Sims Powski. Mads Lunde, Tony Gibboni, Space Ghost and Tom Payne lap traffic, taking the final points of the race, 4 laps down. Out of the race was Rydog, Jagelbomb, Lobster Racing, and then Slugger, who went around on the opening lap of Asking. Right then, how does that affect our championship standings? Because our championship is now just showing the best result. 2 drop weeks applied means that only your best result is currently counting. It means that Checkers, Kevin Parrish and Richard Dempsey are tied at the top of this one with 25 points. Big Al, Matt Malone and Matty Gwill are behind, tied on 21 points. Josh Stafford and Auburn Kyle tied on 17 apiece. Papanokums holds on to 9th position there, and Master Yota Racing in 10th. Remember, these are only the best results of the 3, with 2 being dropped. It means that Slugger is out of the top 10 right now in 11th. Mecharm is in 12th position ahead of Sean Sims, and Bob's Jelly is in 14th. Of the 3 of those, all tied on 13 points apiece. Drux TV and Carl Ditch are tied on 12, in 15th and 16th, and Provi sits in 17th with 11 points to his name. Milky Illidales and Rydog tied on 18th and 19th with 10 points apiece, and Lobster Racing rounds out your top 20 right now with 9 points. Marshy Mello, Tony Gibboni and DDO Deadman are all tied with 8 points out of Casket Man, 6 points for the way of Powski, and 5 for Mads Lunde, who picked up his first points of the season today. Space Ghost sits in 27th position in the championship with 4 points out of Too Tall Greg with 3. Lap Traffic and Tom Payne round out your top 30 with 2 points apiece. Right Click, Greg Gorillaphonic, Turbo Snail, Michael Arvan, Mike Lister, Neil Trotter and Jagelbomb are yet to put their first points on the board, and we'll be hoping to do that before the end of the season. What a great evening of racing it has been once more here around Mugello and for the Matt Malone Patron League. I hope you guys have enjoyed all of the racing action, because I certainly have. It was so much going on constantly. I didn't know where to look, where to keep up to date, but hopefully we brought most of those fights to you. I know that we missed a couple in the background, so we apologise if we missed your fight out there. If you did enjoy watching this, though, make sure that you head across to our YouTube channel, which you can find at josephwrightbroadcasting.com/YouTube. And you can go and subscribe to our YouTube channel to make sure that you catch up with all of the race highlights as well, which will be available within the next couple of days. And then also make sure you hit the follow button here on the Twitch as well, so you're notified when we go live here at Joseph Wright Broadcasting for the Matt Malone Patron League, but all of the other events as well. Now, remember, we are not going to be out next week because of the Bathurst 12 hours, but we will return for round number 4 in the V8 Supercars around Willow Springs, so make sure you check that one out, and we will be back then on the February 28th. But here, I hope you have had a fantastic day watching today's race, and we will be back in 2 weeks' time for the next one. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you stick around, and we'll be heading across over to Matt Malone's stream for the end of his one. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
engines humming, lights burn bright. Another season, broad daylight. History written, legacies free. Welcome back, this is season 3. Slugger ruled when it all began. Season 1, the original hand. Richard Dempsey took the crown. Season 2, he shut it down. Now the grid is back again. New contenders, old revenge. Same league, higher velocity. Every lap writes history. Season 3, feel the heat. Wheel to wheel, no retreat. From green lights to victory. Matt Malone League, this is me. Season 3, stand your ground. Every inch is hard fought now. No rewind, no guarantee. Matt Malone Patreon League, Season 3. Crowns are earned, not given free. 2 champions, now history. Who's next when the lights go green? Welcome to the grid, Season 3.